Like, I don't know. Hi guys, how's it going? Today, we went over solving multi-step equations with unlike denominators. So from the previous video, we went over equations with the same denominator. But today, we're going to go over multi-step equations with different denominators. Now, it's the same setup, but the only difference is that you're going to have to go ahead and do an extra step. So let's go ahead and do the first one. Now, if you're absent, you have this worksheet. So if you're absent, just copy down the problems, okay? At the end, I'm also going to write down all the problems that you missed in class so you can do it in your notebook. Okay, so here we go. First problem is 1/4 x plus 2 equals 2/5 x minus 1. Okay, once again, this is a multi-step equation because you have variables on both sides. And the worst part is you have fractions. Those fractions are dangerous. They're going to mess up your, they're pretty much going to mess up the problem. So the first step is to eliminate any decimals or fractions. Well, in this case, you don't have any decimals. But if you did have decimals, remember, you multiply by the highest power of 10. The good thing is, you don't have any decimals. You could turn these fractions into a decimal and then go ahead and then solve it like you would have done it in a regular decimal problem. But that's a little bit too much. Now, yesterday, what we learned was if we have the same denominator, we multiply all the terms by the same denominator. Well, in this case, you don't have the same denominator. Don't copy this down. Some people today in class were like, well, I can multiply all of these by 4. Yes, you could cancel out this fraction right here, but you won't be able to cancel this fraction right there, okay? So some of you guys were like, well, can I multiply all of these by 4 and then multiply everybody by 5? Yes, you could do that, but the only problem is it's a lot of math, okay? Even though you could use a calculator, and again, like I told you today in class, don't get used to it. Don't get so used to the calculator, but you could use it. So what we do is we have to go back to 6th grade, okay? We have to go back to 6th grade. What number does 4 and 5 go into? And when we're talking about that, it's called the least common multiple. So we have to find out the least common multiple between 4 and 5. So this is 6th grade stuff. List out the multiples. Least common multiple. Multiple means multiplication. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. I just like listing the first 5 multiples. It just makes it easy for me. Going to the next one. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now you pick the multiple that both of them share in common. In this case, it is 20. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to multiply every single one of these terms by 20. Now, some of you guys probably are thinking, can I just multiply this by 40? Both of them do share 40. Yes, you could multiply these by 40, but then you're going to get bigger numbers. How about if I multiply them by 80? You could do that, but again, you're going to get bigger numbers. So you're trying to get multiplied by the smallest number that they have in common. In this case, it's 20 times that by 20, 20, 20. Everybody gets multiplied. Everybody, even the constants. Remember, these are constants. That was the mistake we saw. So 20 times 1 is just 20x. Remember, keep the same denominator. 20 times 2 is 40 equals 20 times 2 is 40 as well. So this is 40x over 5. And then 20 times minus 1 is negative 20. Now, you're going to see how they reduce, reduce, reduce. See what's going to happen right now. 20 divided by 4 is just 5x. Drop the 40 equals 40 divided by 5 is just 8x. And drop your constant. And now it's something that you know how to do easily. Okay, so we circle or box the biggest variable term, which is this one right here, 8x. Draw your barrier. Bring this guy over here. So we use inverse operation. So the inverse operation of a positive 5x is minus 5x. Minus 5x, minus 5x. That cancels out. 8x minus 5x is just 3x. Drop your constants. Remember, constants are the ones that do not have a variable. Draw a barrier. Circle the variable. Focus on the side where the variable is at. Who's not inside the bubble? The minus 20. So you use inverse operation. Plus 20, plus 20. This cancels out. I don't have any more room. I'm going to come over here. 40 plus 20 is 60 equals 3x. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. X equals 20. And that's it. It's literally the same thing from yesterday. The only extra step I'm adding is that we need to have the same denominator, and then you just have to multiply it. Let's go to the next one. God, the problems are getting hot. So, I need to take this off right here. See, math is hot, right? Ooh. These math problems. Ready for the next one? Oh yeah, let's go to the next one. Again, copy these down if you were absent. That means you didn't get the worksheet. I'll give it to you tomorrow, but it's the same problems. Okay? Let's go. Ooh! Let's go for some negatives. We have negative 2/3 x minus 2 equals 1/2 x plus 5. Oh, spicing it up. Once again, we check if you have decimals. Do we have decimals? We don't, which is good. Now you look at it, we have, obviously look at your fractions, look at the denominators. Do they have the same denominator? They don't, unfortunately. Therefore, we have to look for the least common multiple. Now, some of you guys could already tell me, what's the least common multiple? Some of you guys will say, well, it's 6. You're correct. So sometimes you don't have to list them, but I will just list them just to be safe. So I have 3 and 2. I always use the first 5 of them, right? So it's 3, 6, 9. 3 times 4 is 12, 15. Let's do the next ones. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And what we do is, like, which numbers do they share in common? Well, they share the 6 in common. So we're going to multiply all of them by 6. Now, some of you guys might be thinking like, well, can I just multiply everybody by 12 because eventually this will also have a 12, okay? You could, but you're going to get bigger numbers if you do 12. You could also multiply by 18. Once again, you're dealing with bigger numbers, but you're still going to get the right answer. So if you get the smallest number, you deal with less numbers, smaller numbers. Multiply this by 6, 6, 6, 6. Everybody gets multiplied. 6 times 2 is 12. Keep the negative. Don't start trying to make some fancy things for the negative side. 6 times 2 is also minus 12 equals 6 times 1 is 6 over 2x. And then 6 times 5 will be giving you the 30. Okay? Now let's reduce. 12 divided by 3 is 4. In this case, negative 4x minus 12. You drop that one. 6 divided by 2 is 3x plus 30. This is something that we've learned. We've been doing this for the past 2 weeks. So this should be pretty easy. Draw your barrier. Circle the biggest variable term. These are called variable terms because they have variables on them. Genius, right? This is the biggest one. Bring this one over here. Do the inverse operation. So the inverse of negative 4x is positive 4x. Positive 4x. Okay? These cancel out. 3 plus 4 is 7x. Drop the constants. There we go. And then what we do is barrier, circle. We've been doing for so long. Who's not inside the bubble here? Well, 30 is not. So the opposite of the inverse of positive 30 is negative 30. Negative 30. These cancel out. Same sign or different signs? Well, they're same. So you add. Well, it's negative 42. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Equals 7x. I'm going to move over here because I don't have any more room. The inverse of division, multiplication is division. So I better not see any of you guys doing minus, minus. That's incorrect. Cancel that out. That will be 6. But it will be negative 6 because of the sign. And that will be the answer for that one right there. So the answer is x equals negative 6. Let's go to our last problem we're going to do together. See, negatives are not hard. They're simple. One more. Same steps. Ooh, look at this one. 7 over 10n plus 3 over 2 equals 3 over 5n plus 2. Look at the denominators. Are the denominators the same? No, they're not. They're different. So we have to look for the same denominator. Some of you guys already know what the denominator is. But I'm going to list them just to be safe. So this one is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And this one will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So you look at these and you ask yourself, what's the common denominator that they all share in common? Well, in this case, it's going to be the tens. They all share the 10. So you're going to multiply everybody by 10. So multiply this by 10, this by 10, this by 10, this by 10. Okay? So here you go. 10 times 7 should be 70. 70n over 10. 10 times 3 is 30. 30 over 2. 10 times 3 is also 30n over 5. Remember, keep the same denominator. And then 10 times 2 is just 20. There we go. So the next step is 70 divided by 10 is 7n. 30 divided by 2 is 15. 30 divided by 5 should give you 6n. And drop the constant term. Now it becomes something that we know how to solve. Box the biggest variable term. Bring that guy over here. So the inverse of a positive 6n is a negative 6n. Negative 6n. Click, click, click. You cancel out. 7n minus 6n gives you 1n. Drop the 15. Drop the 20. So that will be plus 15 equals 20. Okay? Circle the variable. Draw the barrier. You need to get rid of the 15. So minus 15, minus 15. So n is equal to just 5. And that's how you solve a multi-step equation with fractions that have unlike denominators. The first step you do is you have to figure out the least common multiple. After you figure it out, multiply all the terms. And it just becomes the same way we did it on the previous video. Now, I'm going to write down the problems for those people that were absent. I'm also going to write down the answers to the problems. Like I said, write them in your notebook so that you're on the same pace like everybody else. Let me just look for the answers though. Answers, answers, answers. I found the answers. You see how quick I am? Wow. Here we go. Number 1. 2/3 x minus 1 equals negative 1, 6x plus 9. The answer for that one is 12. Yay. 2. 6 plus 4 over 5b equals 9 over 10b. The answer for this one is 60. Number 3. 4 over 7x minus 2 equals 3 over 7x minus 2 over 14. The answer for this one is x equals 13. Let's go to the next one. 4. Negative 3/4 x minus 3 equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. The answer here is negative 48. So, these are the first 4 problems, okay? Copy them down. I'll give you time. I'm just thinking about who's going to get an F in this class right now. Who's going to pass? You know, if you understand this, you're gonna get a good grade. Number 5. 5 over 6x minus 2 equals negative 2/3 x minus 1. Now you could get fractions from this. I mean, it's very hard to create a problem that the answer is a whole number. So you could get fractions on these. Okay, if you do, just reduce the fractions. In this case, the answer will be 2/3. Number 6. 5 over 6y plus 2 equals negative 1/3 y minus 1/3. The answer for this one is y equals negative 2. Next one, 7. Oh, my arm. 5 6h minus 7 12 equals negative 3/4 h minus 13 over 6. And the answer for that one is h equals negative 1. H for Hernandez. Yay! Next one, number 8. Negative 5 over 4c minus 1/2 equals negative 3 over 4 plus 5/8 c. This one is also a fraction. The answer for c is equal to 2 over 15. Okay, so copy those down. Hopefully you're getting them right. Now let's give you the last two. Number 9 is a tricky one. This is talking about mixed numbers. Don't worry. Don't be scared. They're just mixed numbers. Number 9. The problem is 3 1/4 x minus 2 equals 2 2/3 x plus 1/3. The hint I'll give you is turn these into an improper fraction. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13 over 4x. Do that same thing for the other mixed number. And the last problem, finally, number 10. 3/4 x minus 12 over 8 equals 6 over 8x plus 3 over 2. This one will be, believe it or not, no solution. No solution. And that's it. So my people that were absent today in class, make sure you copy these down in your notebook, solve them in your notebook, and bring them back tomorrow. So once again, in order for you to solve equations, multi-step equations, with unlike denominators, is find the same denominator by using these common multiple and multiplying all of these terms by the common multiple, and hopefully you got the right answer. Next week, we're going to go over equations with distributive property and combining like terms. And that's going to wrap up today's video.